Once you start to become more sexually attractive, you would start to notice a lot of guys around you start to act weird. Today, I will be talking about why a sexually attractive man cannot hang out with an average guy. And, I had to learn the hard way. I've told the story many times, but I fell out with a lot of my friends. And, I grew up, always be nice, treat people how you want to be treated. But you start to realize that there's levels to things. And sometimes when you keep working on yourself, and it's important for every man to be working on himself, you outgrow certain friends. And a part of that is becoming more sexually attractive. They will start to envy you. They will start to become jealous. You will start to see the insecurities. And it starts off with little jokes here and there. And I remember one time I made a video and they're like, Cole, you're reaching. You're reaching, Cole. It's not that serious. But it's like, no, that was the seed that was planted. It took a minute to grow, but that was the seed that was planted. Like, they would say something about the way I was dressed. They would say something about, oh, Cole, you always with some girl. They might say something like that. Or they say, oh, you think you're all that. Oh, you always got your shirt off. They try to throw little pebbles at you. They're not just going to bash you upside the head. They're going to throw little pebbles at you first. But then it starts to build up. The more they see you succeed, the more hate comes out of them, the more envy comes out of them. Because when you're sexually attractive, you have more options. And if you're around these people a lot, in my case, it was my roommates. So I was seeing these guys every day. They were seeing me. Maybe I got a girl that they wish they could get. So they start to envy that. They with a girl they really don't want to mess with, but that's the best they can do. So every time they look at you with your girl or girls, now they feel some type of way. And I'm not saying if you sexually attractive, you can't have an average looking friend, but I'm saying he has to have some type of emotion. Like, he has to have something special about him. He got to have a great sense of humor. He has to get after his bag. He has to have something. You can't be hanging around with bums. Even if you are a sexually attractive bum, that's going to be uneven. And you're going to start noticing. They start hating on you. Like I said, they're not going to be direct. Usually the type of guys that are very insecure, they're very passive about it. They're going to sabotage you. I've spoke on it many times. One of my roommates, dog, hit the girl. He hit the girl up I was talking to, like, oh, Cole really don't like you like that. And then later on, years down the road, he set me up to get punched in my face. So I tell you guys that story because it started with the little subtle things. But I wanted to see the best in people. So I still hung around them. Even though when I seen red flags, yellow flags, I still hung around them. And, I think that was part of maturing. I had to go through that. Because I was always too naive. I was too nice. And now I can look at somebody and tell exactly what they are. And that's a skill that every man needs, especially when he becomes more sexually attractive. Because from the youth, we taught to be nice. We taught that treat people how you want to be treated. But you got to look at that person. You got to look at that person and really analyze them. You got to be able to read that person. And a lot of people, they'll go through some shit and they don't learn from it. They just feel sorry for themselves. You got to go through shit and you got to learn from it. And understand where you messed up. See, I could hold a grudge against these guys. Now, I completely removed all these people from my life. But I could hold a grudge for them. I could have tried to seek revenge. And a lot of people saying, Cole, you need to go seek revenge. Maybe something will happen one day. I don't know. But I said, no, that's not going to do anything. Those people are removed from my life because I realized I was a blessing to those people. And I remember one time we went out, we were going bowling with a couple of my friends and my roommates. And one of the dudes we ran into that we went to high school with, remember this, he said, y'all are lucky to have Cole. Like, Cole's a really good friend. And I don't know, like, it was kind of odd to me at the moment. But now I realize it. He's like, Cole's a really good friend. Like, he got all y'all boys in the gym. This was a guy struggling to lose weight and stuff like that. But he's like, Cole's a good friend. Like, he really got all you guys right. And did I look at them? I seen if they said any reaction. They had no reaction at all. And that really stood out to me. Because they could have been like, yeah, Cole's a great friend. Yeah, Cole did help me get right. But it was just like silence. This other guy that wasn't our friends, he noticed it. He like, man, Cole got y'all right, man. All y'all boys looking right. And this is what I want you guys to know. I'm not saying if you have an average friend, they might be a little bit behind you, that you just completely forget about them. Oh, he ugly. I can't mess with him anymore. I'm not saying this. I'm saying that you can try to help some people, but they gotta want to help themselves. So you try to pull them up. But after you try to pull them up and they don't want to come up, you let them go. You let them be. Because the more you try to hold on, the more they're going to leech off of you. They're going to leech off of you, and then they start to hate on you. Then they try to start sabotaging your growth instead of helping you. Now, there's some people, they see you get on the right path, they get inspired, and now they want to get on the path with you, and they want to run the race with you. But there's a lot of people, they see you succeeding. Now, you thought he was your friend. you thought he was a day one homie. Now he's trying to sabotage you. Now he's not trying to run with you. Now he's trying to trip you. Now he's trying to throw stuff at you when you're running. Because they start to get insecure. They start to, why does he have that and I don't have that? Instead of looking at the truth. See, a lot of people say men are logical. That's far from the truth. I wish we were more logical. You really got to pay attention and stop being so emotional. But a lot of men are emotional. Shit, hell, I feel like a lot of guys are worse than women nowadays, if I'm being honest. A lot of guys are emotional. So logically, it wouldn't make sense to hate on your best friend. Logically, it would make sense to help him, he help you, and y'all got a team. Y'all got a little team going on. You need help with something, he's there. And vice versa. That makes the most sense. Logically, that makes the most sense. But, oh boy, their emotions really take over them. I've dealt with more bullshit from guys that consider them to be friends than I dealt with women. Women, they get jealous too, for sure. But a lot of guys, they will look at you as competition and try to take you out. Now, some of these women, you could call them masculine. They going to compete with you. But there's a lot of guys that they can't put their ego aside. They can't look at the real. They can't acknowledge, like, bro done put in the work. Bro is constantly working on himself. I see why girls want to get with him. They can't see that. They just like, bro, I don't see what, Cole's a hoe, Cole's this, Cole's that. Cole thinks he's all that. Instead of seeing the truth. Because I'm always going to try to leave people better than when I met them. Even if it is a girl. I want all you guys to do that. When you meet somebody, is their life going to be better after they meet you? Even if it's a fling, if it's a long-term relationship, if it's your homeboy, are you leaving them better than when they met you? Because I can say, for me, I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to do that. And that's why even when anytime I had a friend, I always had them in the gym. I always wanted the best for them. I always try to, anything I know, I'm going to try to put you on. And that's why it's so important to keep learning for yourself. Are looks very important? Absolutely. Are women going to choose you off your looks? Absolutely. But I think a lot of people compare attracting women to sales. And I feel like that's fair. Do you know how to present yourself? Do you know how to advertise yourself? But at the end of the day, you still need to be a good product. And that's why, like, when it comes to, people say, oh, looks is the most important, status is the most important, that is the most important. I said, look, it all plays a role. It all plays a role, And it's just like selling. Is advertisement important for selling? Absolutely. But if you got good advertisement, but you got a shitty product, people might buy it one time, then they leave you alone. Women might want to hook up with you, but she only see you that one time, maybe twice, and now she good on you. Because you were good to look at, to see, she was excited to see you naked, but now you ain't really do your thing in the bedroom, and now she talked to you, she like, oh, he kind of airhead, and then it's on to the next. And if you have a good product, but you don't know how to present it, people aren't even going to see if that product is good. If you got shit advertising, you selling something and it looks like complete shit, people aren't going to buy it. It's the same way. So multiple things are important. I'm not saying one thing is important. I just talk about body game mainly because I think that's the foundation. And I think that's one of the first steps. Because building your body, you also building your mind. The mind, the body, soul is all connected. A lot of people think, man, I'm so depressed, I feel bad. A lot of their brain is fucked up. The health of your brain is bad. Your gut health's fucked up. That's why you don't feel good. And once you look into that, I'm like, okay, that's why I focus on the body game. Yeah, that's why I focus on the body game, because it's going to make you feel better. You feel better, you look better. You start to think clearer thoughts. But you still have to work on everything else. And a lot of people, they get too caught up on the minor things, the little shit. What you really need to do, you need to find your own style. What do you like? What do you like? Stop trying to be like everybody else. What is unique to you, my brother? Yeah, man. You have to be very cautious of guys that are average when you become more sexually attractive. When you're working on yourself, when you're going hard, you ideally want to get around other guys that are doing that. Because I promise you, any guy that I looked at and I'm like, yeah, bro's kind of insecure, I always fell out with them. Because they will start to hate you. They will start to envy you. And really, they don't hate you. They hate themselves. They hate the lack of discipline that they have, that they can't go in to get in the gym like you. And a lot of people don't love themselves in today's world. A lot of people don't love themselves. They don't care about themselves. And that's all by program. That's all by design, man. I went through a rabbit hole. I went down a rabbit hole this weekend. I'm not going to talk about it too much. But I really went down a rabbit hole this weekend. And I learned a lot of things, man. And that's one thing I always try to do. I always try to learn. I always try to share my knowledge with my friends and my people. I always try to put my people up, dog. It's not about looking at my folks like competition. That's stupid to me. And I think only really insecure men are worried about that. And like I said, I've been in situations where like a girl's super bad, but she don't want me. She wants somebody else. That's perfectly fine. But a lot of guys live in a scarcity mindset. They don't have that abundance. So when you're around a guy with a scarcity mindset and you got abundance, he will sabotage you, dog. Like I said, I had a friend. A guy I knew for years, probably 5-6 years, lived with him for multiple years. He liked the girl I was talking to, and he sabotaged it. And the funny thing is, he put me on with this girl. Like, how did that sound? He put me on with this girl. Then I guess she started feeling me. And then, out of nowhere, she's like, oh, your friend told me about you. And in my head, I was like, he wouldn't do that. So he didn't even come to mind. Goddamn, they looked at this dude like my brother. But I realized they love us to things. Yes, sir, they love us to things. And when you're doing better than the people around you, man, they start to hate you. A lot of people want you to do good, but they don't want you to do better than them. Because I was always trying to be nice, positive. People screw me over, I look past it. Then later after, and then he set me up too. And that's what it comes down to. Because when I addressed him like face to face, he couldn't even say anything. He couldn't even, bro started getting emotional. It's like, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing? It's just crazy to me. Like, how can you live with somebody and you don't have their back? And I said, bro, you done did some shady shit to me. And even if someone came up here trying to sneak you, trying to attack you, talking any violence towards you, I would have had your back. Regardless if you want some fuck shit. Like, how a dude come over here and tell you, oh, I'm going to punch Cole when he's not looking. I'm going to sneak Cole. And you don't even tell me. Just off the respect that I'm your roommate. And then you try to lie about it. Then you try to bullshit me. But man, that's a lesson I had to learn, man. So when you become sexually attractive, when you got options, you got to be careful. And I think it's even more important, and this to men and women. Like now, dog, and this is how I know the body games work. The body game works. People can doubt it all they want to, but it's like, now I've had quite a few women where they like, I have to trap you. They'll joke about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've talked to a decent amount of women that would let me get them pregnant. No bullshit. And I'm like, I ain't even got my money right like that for you to be acting like that. But when the body game like that, when she's super attracted to you, hey, she gonna be on some demon time. So even when it comes to the women, you gotta be careful too, my brother. Cause these women will trap you. Or if you cut some of these women off, now they crazy side come off. While when you was just the average guy, she wasn't tripping about you like that. She wasn't trying to get pregnant by you. Your homies weren't trying to screw you over because they were jealous of you. You didn't have anything to be jealous of. You was doing the same as them. You was bullshitting. You was a shit ass shit like them. But once you start to elevate, you start to separate yourself, dog. They don't like that shit. Because it's a constant reminder. When I got a chick over, and you like, damn, I'm still dealing with this girl I've been dealing with for the past couple of years. I really don't like her like that, but I don't want to restart. I don't want to meet a new girl. Oh, this is the best I can do. When you on some type of timing like that, of course you're going to feel some type of way. You see your homeboy getting all the girls and you struggling. Even though he would help you if you asked for help. You got this sloppy physique. You got this skinny, scrawny physique. You got this fat physique. You got these titties. And then you see your homie that's ripped. Stop looking at him in envy and just go hit a workout with him. Ask for some advice and then actually apply it. You know, but there's too much emotional. And this is, I think this is one of the biggest issues in the world right now. Like people, when it comes to men's mental health and stuff like that, you know, men's mental health month, everybody like, oh, guys just need to talk more. I'm like, yeah, you know, a lot of guys are very lonely. They need to talk more. But they always try to portray like, oh, men just need to talk about their feelings more and go to therapy and all this other stuff. I'm like, no. A lot of these guys just need a purpose in their life. A lot of guys don't have any purpose. A lot of guys don't know how to think for themselves, and that is by design. You don't even know how to think for yourself. You don't know how to even be aware of the current moment. You are constantly being controlled by everything around you. You constantly being controlled by the media. You're constantly being controlled by pornography. You constantly being controlled by video games, TikTok, Instagram. You constantly being controlled by everything. You start to realize everything is by design. So you really got to care about yourself. You really got to love yourself. You got to step away from all the bullshit. You got to start seeing people for who they are. You got to start seeing society for what it is. They don't have your best interest. No, they don't have your best interest. Boy, society, the people that really run this stuff, boy, they don't care about your life at all. They don't care about your life at all. You just a number in the system. And that's why you got to care about yourself more now than ever before. That's why you really got to be on point and really know who rock with you. You really got to look at somebody and analyze them. Because I promise you, dog, most of these people have no control over their emotions. I'm sexually attractive. You can't just hang out with everybody. That guy, he has to have some type of emotion. He has to have something special about him. And I'm glad to say any guy around me, any person I would consider my friend now, they have something special about themselves. They're either in really good shape, they're getting after the bag, they have amazing humor. There's something special about everybody that I'm around now. But for a long time, that wasn't the case. For a long time, man, I was hanging out with complete shit asses. And it's just because, like, oh, they call me, they want to hang out, so I'm going to go. But now I value my time so much more, and I'm just like, damn, how much time did I waste on people that really didn't fuck with me? How much time did I waste on these people? I was investing into these people, and for a damn fact, I wasn't going to get a return. And I'm not saying everything has to be transactional. Like I said, I always try to leave people better than when I meet them. But sometimes you meet somebody, you need to cut them off. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. Cut them off early. That don't mean you don't treat them good. That don't mean you don't treat them with respect. Same time, that don't mean they got to have a spot in your life. Life is too short to be hanging around with your enemies, with your frenemies. Life is too short for that. When someone shows you their true colors, don't go colorblind. Right? A lot of people show you their true colors and you act like you colorblind. Nah, see it for what it is, my brother. See it for what it is. You can elevate your friend, and I encourage you guys to try to elevate your friend. Like some people online, they be like, man, you don't have time for friends. Cut your friends out. You got to get about your... And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's cool, but you still got time for your friends. Because I always talk about it. Fellowship is a crucial part of truly being fulfilled. But at the same time, you got to make sure that's a true friend. You know, start looking at things like, but he is kind of being weird. He keeps acting like that. Really take a note. I know we try to see the best in people. You know, especially if you had good parents, you always see the best in people. Sometimes you got to see what is really there and stop trying to look at them for what you actually want it to be. You know, and I was talking to one of my friends, man, and you know, we were talking about like usually when a girl screw you over, when a girl fucks you over, like you know that girl wasn't the one. You know that chick wasn't solid to begin with. You were just ignoring it. And I think it's the same way with friends. A lot of times we know, dog, but we want to ignore the truth because we too focused on our emotions. There's time to be emotional, but you need to be able to turn it on and turn it off. You got to have control over your emotions. Stop letting everything else control your emotions. Stop letting, I need some dopamine. Stop being swayed by everything, my brother. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't. I'll catch y'all boys in the next one.